Hey guys, Sean from Next Step here. So we've all heard the statistics on just how many products fail. The number we use for demonstration purposes is 9 out of 10. So what are the specific reasons that these products are failing? And what can we do to make sure that our product-based business avoids this tragic outcome? The first reason listed for why most products fail is simply no market. There is no one there that wishes to essentially buy the product that we've created. So what shouldn't be obvious here is that having no market for your product causes it to fail. What should be alarming here is that people keep doing it and products keep failing for this reason. That's why in the Next Step product system, the first step is all about market and market validation. Before anything else, you need to understand whether or not you've uncovered a problem that's severe enough that's worthy of building a solution around. I'll also include a link to the video specifically describing how our system works. So what you need to know in order to be able to avoid this is why this specific type of failure happens. Specifically, product business owners find themselves starting with an answer more than they do starting with a problem. That's backwards. Starting with an answer and trying to find a problem is like needle in a haystack difficult. Instead, think of it by going to find the problem first. Think of it in your head as looking to address an obvious unmet need. If you keep it in those terms, not only will it be difficult to forget, but it should be relatively obvious once you've achieved and secured that step. Okay, so the second most common reason for product businesses failing is a lack of a business model. Essentially what we mean here is that you haven't created a straightforward path to profitability for your product-based business. So if you've checked the first box and found a problem worth solving, you need to take that a step further in that phase to ensure that the problem you found worth solving causes intense enough pain for your customers to the point where they're willing to pay for access to your solution. If you haven't identified this, then unfortunately for you, all you've created is another hobby. Ensure that your customers are willing to pay for access to your product. The next step here is ensuring that you have a relatively simple to understand revenue model, and it needs to be something that your customers can connect with. What is it going to cost for access to your product? Why are your customers going to pay it? What are they going to gain access to for paying for your product? These are all important to verify at this point. Think back to the product review video I did last week for the product Calendly. So Calendly employs a very common freemium model, and they do so rather successfully. But they do it successfully because there's a clear distinction between what their free features are and what their paid premium features are going to be. So if you're going to use a freemium model, you need to have clear distinction here, and you need to have paid features behind a paywall that customers are willing to jump through the hoops and pay for in order to make your product generate revenue. In Calendly's example, they have strong features such as sending reminders for the appointments that got booked. And I could speak to that specifically because when I was using the free version of Calendly, I was booking meetings left and right, which is great, but a booked meeting isn't really all that helpful if people aren't showing up to them. So I needed that reminder, and that's one of the reasons why I upgraded to the paid feature of one of Calendly's paid tiers. So the third most common reason for a product business to fail is a poor product. Now, in this instance, you've done your market research to identify a problem worth solving, you've created a revenue model that's relatively straightforward, and you've got your path to profitability. But now you need to deliver on those promises, and that's going to be in the form of your product. This failure in this phase is particularly painful because you've already done a lot of the hard work. At this point, you're really just delivering on the promises that you've made thus far and the things that you've already verified. Now, the product stage is all about execution, but as they say, the devil's in the details. So how do we avoid failure in the product stage? The best way to do this is to keep your product simple. Don't build 3 features when your customers mainly want access to one. They're going to need to learn how to use your new product, and the simpler and more straightforward that process is for them so that it can become a habit, the better. Your efforts here will also aid you in a couple of other ways, namely keeping your budget lower and also reducing the amount of time it's going to take in order for you to deliver this product to customers. Realistically, it's a win all around, but the importance of it cannot be overstated. So there you have it, guys. We talked about 3 of the most common reasons why 9 out of 10 products fail and what you specifically can do to avoid that tragic outcome. Thanks for watching our video, and keep disrupting.